الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Inshallah, we will start in a few seconds. Alhamdulillah. So inshallah today, or tonight, we're going to start inshallah returning back to our course. This is the fourth lesson from the book Learning Arabic Language of the Quran. Inshallah, from last week, we went over a few rules, and the rules that we went over from last week are rules pertaining to sifat, related to adjectives in Arabic language, and recognizing the adjective, and lessons about the noun and the adjective must agree with each other in gender, number, indefinite and indefiniteness. So we went over this last weekend, and this is continuation from last week, the lesson. If anybody did not see or do not understand the lesson mentioned or just mentioned just now, I would recommend them to go back and to review the second and the third lesson videos. The second and the third lesson videos. To sum up from last week, what we ended on going over or starting the introduction in the book Arabic Made Easy by Abul Hashim. We went over the chapter Al-Idafa. The chapter of possessive case. I didn't explain the possessive case. Well, what I did is I introduced something that's very important called alamatul irab, the signs of irab. The book in Arabic Made Easy, which is the fourth lesson on page 15. The fourth lesson on page 15. On the fourth lesson of page 15, we went over what is the alamatu or halatu irab. Halatu irab. What is the case or the case of irab? And I mentioned about marfu'. I mentioned about the case of marfu'. I mentioned about the case of mansub, and I mentioned about the case of al-majrur. I mentioned about these, and the terminology for them in English, which is marfu' is the normative case. You will see these terms. Al-mansub being accusative case, and majrur being the genitive case. I'll be very blunt. In Arabic language, I don't go over what is normative, accusative, and genitive. I just know the signs. I just know that marfu' means something ending in dhamma. I know mansub, something ending in fatha. I know majrur, something ending in kasra. And I mentioned from last weekend, in one methab, it will say majrur, it says al-khafid or muqafid, meaning that it ends in kasra. And qaf means something below, right? So going back to these signs, I like to get deep into some of the signs, not deep, but a good introduction. Because next, talking about in the case of الإضافة, he's going to introduce to you when words or a word or a noun is going to end in kasra, which is majrur. So marfu' means anything, any word ending in dhamma. A word ending in dhamma. Marfu'. Something that is ending in dhamma. Marfu'. For example, Allahu is ending in dhamma. This is marfu'. Kitabun. This is ending in marfu'. Raf. We call it raf. Raf means that the lama, ala akhi kalimat, the sign of the last word, for example, a raf, meaning marfu'. Raf means rafa'a. Raf meaning also that the sign or the ending of this vowel is ending in dhamma or dhammatan. So whether it's dhamma or dhammatan, the ending vowel, marfu', the ending vowel is, if it's ending in dhamma, it's considered to be marfu'. Ending in dhamma. Allahu, kitabun, rajulun. All these words are ending in dhamma. Dhamma, these ending cases or the ending vowels are very important in Arabic grammar. Al-i'rab is the heart of Arabic grammar. Al-i'rab is the heart of Arabic grammar. The i'rab is the heart of Arabic grammar. I will say it again. Al-i'rab is the heart of Arabic grammar. So these signs, marfu', mansub, majrur, is something you must memorize. Later on we're going to see a marfu' being raf, majrur being jar, mansub being nasb. It's very important. This is the heart of Arabic grammar. This is the heart of Arabic grammar. It's very important because I gave an example from last weekend. This is Tufsaniya al-Arujumiyya. This is the book Tufsaniya of Arujumiyya. The name of the shard is called Tufsaniya, like the stones or the gem or the mastery gem. This name of the title, Tufsaniya. It's a very good shard of Arujumiyya, and I showed you from last week. Just from the index of the book, if I read it off, alamatu fi'lu. What are the ending signs or the signs of fi'lu? It's part of al-i'rab. Reading on. Alamatu harf, the signs of harf. Babu i'rab, the chapter of i'rab. Ma'na lugha wa istilahan wa shar'a ta'rif, introduction. Ma'na al-bana' fi lugha wa istilahan, introduction. Introduction to i'rab also. المثال أمثلة لمعرب لفظ تقدير مبني وأسئلة على ذلك. Also related to al-i'rab. أقسام i'rab, the sections of i'rab. والبيان, explaining it. ما يدخل الاسم منهم وما يدخل فعله. Right? Related to i'rab. باب معرفة علامة i'rab, the chapter on knowing the signs of i'rab. Here we go. Raf, arba alamat. Raf related to marfu'. Raf, word ending in dhamma, it has 4 signs. 4 signs. I'm reading the introduction or reading the index from Al-Jumiyah. Everything, the heart of grammar is i'rab. I keep it going down. It's getting more and more into i'rab. So this terminology, marfu', mansub, majrur, you cannot go nowhere in Arabic grammar without knowing and memorizing these terminology. I keep on reading down. Al-waw, tukunu alama ala rafi fi mawdu'ain. The letter waw, it becomes alama, a sign upon raf, in 2 subjects. For example, the whole book, this is the index of Al-Jumiyah, is talking about the signs of i'rab. Is related to this terminology. Alif تكون علامة على رف في توثنية قاصة. Right? is also related to إعراب. نون تكون علامة على رفع في فعل مضارع. Related to some of the signs of the fi'l mudari, present tense verbs. This is related to the same word, al-i'rab. Keep on going on and on. I can't read all of this tonight, all the index, but every index, I can't find one thing. I can't find one chapter that's not about i'rab. All these chapters, I can't find a chapter that's not already about i'rab. The rest of the remaining of the book is all talking about i'rab. In some form or some fashion, it's talking about i'rab. So you can't go forward in Arabic grammar without knowing these signs. Marfu'. Alright? Marfu'. Marfu' means a word ending in damma or dammatan. I shouldn't have to say dammatan or two dammas. I shouldn't have to say it. If I say a word ending in damma, it means damma or two dammas. If I say mansub, it's ending in fata, you know what I'm meaning? Fata or two fatas. If I say it's majroor, I shouldn't have to say that it's ending kasra and kasratan. You should know that already. So I don't have to keep on repeating certain things. If I say something that is marfu', either it's going to end in damma or two dammas. So I shouldn't have to say two dammas. It should be understood. This is what I'm talking about. If you see something ending in two dammas, then it's marfu'. And then in one damma, it's still marfu'. If it's ending in one fata, it is mansub. If it's ending in two fata, it is mansub. Alright? If it's ending in one kasra, it is majroor. If it's ending in two kasras, it is still majroor. So I shouldn't have to repeat myself saying these dammatan. It's kind of a tongue twister, so I don't want to have to repeat myself saying these things. Marfu', ending in damma. Majroor, ending in kasra. Mansub, ending in fatha. Khalas. It should be very simple. Alright? Very simple. This is the heart of Arabic grammar. The more we get into the book, or the more you get into Nahu, you're going to find that i'rab is Nahu. Al-i'rab huwa Nahu. I'rab is Arabic grammar. And i'rab means how you break down the syntax, how you break down grammatically the sentence, grammatically a word, how you break it down. Alright? For example, what's the i'rab? You learn Arabic language. Anybody goes away to learn Arabic language? I don't care if you go study in Saudi, you go study in Kuwait Arabic language, you go to Egypt study Arabic language. This is going to be your focus point, one of your main focal point when it comes to learning Arabic grammar. There's other things of learning Arabic are related to ta'bir. Ta'bir means expression, but it really is ta'bir really is based upon building your vocabulary and expressions in Arabic. Alright? But when we come to Arabic grammar, it's related to i'rab. I don't care what Arabic book you talk about. What classic book? Alfiya ibn Malik, Al-Jumiyya. Al-Jumiyya is only a muqaddam in Nahu. Al-Jumiyya is only an introduction to Nahu. So this is a shar Al-Jumiyya. Al-Jumiyya is really maybe 2 or 3 pages, 4 pages, or 5 pages. The method, the text of the book. This is the explanation of the book. Some scholars have big explanations, some have small. I like the small explanations, not the big explanations, because the book itself is small. And Al-Jumiyya is only a muqaddam fi Nahu. Alright? It's only a muqaddam. It's only introduction to Arabic grammar. So some people like the shar of Sheikh Uthaymeen rahimahullah. It's a very good shar, but it's long. It's long and it's a thick book. But the book itself is only a few pages. So I like to go to a short shar that's straight to the point, because the book is only an introduction to Arabic grammar. There's so many things you have to learn about Arabic grammar. So Al-Jumiyya is only an introduction. And if you just looked, as I showed you, in the index of the book or the context of the book, everything is focused on i'rab. Everything is here focusing some way, some form, some fashion on i'rab. So you can't leave this lesson without knowing what is marfu'. Marfu' means ending in damma. Marfu' fi raf. Raf also means ending in damma. Keep those two terms together, marfu' and raf. Later on, we're going to get into maybe some other curriculum, or in this same particular book, you're going to start seeing it. And I can already explain in this book, Learning Arabic Language of Quran, they don't explain it. And it's crucial. It's a crucial thing to understand. What is marfu', what is mansub, what is majroor. It's very crucial to understand that in this book, I says, it has pros and cons. It has pros and cons. So now we knocked that out the way. Marfu means word ending in raf. Mansub means word ending in fatha. Word ending in fatha. Inna Allah. Inna Allah. Allah is ending in fatha. Why? Because inna made it fatha. Inna Allah. Huh? Inda hamda. And then in fatha, there's mansub. Right? Darraba Muhammad Zaydan. Zaydan is what? It is mansub. Darraba. Darraba is what? Darraba is a past tense verb. It's ending in what? Fatha. We'll learn that later on. Alright? Ending in fatha. Alright? It's very important in Arabic grammar. Even certain verbs, past tense verbs, always end in fatha. Majority of the cases, it ends in fatha. That's part of i'rab. Ending in fatha, the past tense verb. And it's fixed. Ending in fatha. Alright? It's ending in fatha and it's fixed. Right? These are some signs of a past tense verbs. So the ending verbs are very important. I mean, the ending vowels are very important in Arabic. Ending vowels is very important in Arabic grammar. Darraba Muhammadun Zaydan. Muhammad is what? Darraba Muhammadun. Muhammad is ending in what? Tudama. So it's marfu'a. Darraba Muhammadun Zaydan. Zaydan is what? Zaydan is what? It is mansub because it's ending in fatha. This is a very simple, easy example. Majroor, ending in kasra. Fi al-bayti. Fi al-bayti. In the house. Fi al-bayti. Al-bayt. Al-bayti. Fi al-bayti. It is majroor. It is jar. It's ending in kasra. So this is majroor. This is how it goes. This is how it goes in Arabic language. This is how it goes in Arabic language. You're going to see mansub, marfu', and majroor is how it goes. Very simple. They're going to have some words later on. We're going to learn words that are mu'rab and mabni. Words that the ending can change, are changeable. The ending vowel is changeable. And some words are mabni, fixed. Some ending words are fixed. Like huwa. Huwa is mabni. Huwa is mabni. Alright? Mabni. It's fixed and they don't change. Alright? We're learning that later on. Not right now. Later on. So, al-i'rab is very important. These terminology is very important. If you don't know these terminology, you don't know Arabic. Today we're going to learn al-Idafa. And Idafa is going to be related to marfu and majroor. A word ending in dhamma. And the second part of the Idafa is ending in kasra. Kitabullahi. Kitabullahi. So today we're going to learn about Idafa. And I'm going to read from the book. Everything understood? Everything understood. Somebody asked me a question. Will you go through this more depth later down the line? In the book, we're going to follow according to the book. If I see the book, or both of the books, or short and something, then I will explain. But you have to do work. You have to do reading. You have to do work. You have to do reading. You have to do work. You have to do reading. When I used to study Arabic in Egypt, my teachers used to tell me, you're lazy. You're lazy. I mean, you're lazy. You got to do your homework. You got to do the work. You sit. I used to sit and think. What do you mean? The teacher could teach you, but the comprehension is going to come on you. Your comprehension, or how much you comprehend, is about how much effort you put into learning. How much effort. This particular lesson, you need to take an index card, and write down. Marfu means normative case, and write dhamma and dhammatan. You take the word mansub and another index card and put fatah, then two fatas. This means mansub. You need to take the word accusative and put it means accusative. Mansub means accusative. You need to write the word majroor, means genitive, and put kasra, then two kasratan. And memorize this. While I have other videos on this page about how to review. Do it like this. Do things like this. Review. Write index card. Review every day. 2-3 times a day. 4 times a day like you do your salat. Review. Sit down. 5 minutes. Review. Right after salat. Review. On your break. Review. Break out the cards. Because these terminology got to be fixed in your mind. These terminology got to be fixed in your mind in Arabic grammar. Because when I go now to Arabic language, this is the book An-Nahwu Wadih. This is the first book. Here we go. Nasbu fi'l mudara. Here we go. I'm reading a lesson from this book. It says nasb, the fi'l mudara ending in fatha. The fi'l mudara ending in fatha. So we know the present tense verb, that it is marfu'. The present tense verb, it ends in dhamma. Daraba, past tense, yudarribu, ending in dhamma. He's talking about here, there's some cases where the present tense verb can end in fatha, right? Using these terminology. Nasbu fi'l mudara. Nasbu fi'li mudara. Nasbu al-fi'li al-mudara. The nasb of the present tense verb. And here, in the form of this sentence, is from the lesson today. We're going to learn al-Idafa, possessive case. Why the nasb ends in dhamma? The word nasb, why here in the sentence ending in dhamma? That's complicated for some people. But nasbu fi'li al-mudara. So I'm reading the term. The term is there. You're going to see the term. Anything in grammar book, you're going to find these terms. Yansibu fi'l mudara. What makes fi'l mudara ending in front of mansub? They give you the words. Some words make the fi'l mudara mansub. Wahiya, and, walan, wa idan, wa kay. So we're going to find these terminology. Anything you read about Arabic grammar, we're going to use these terminology. Marfu', mansub, majroor. You're going to find this. Then later on, I teach you about jism, inshallah. But not right now. A jism. Teach you about that later. Alright? Because there's some other signs. So let me read from the book. Arabic Made Easy by Abul Hashim, page 15, which is actually lesson 4. So your duty, your job should be is, hey, if the teacher is giving this book or teaching a particular book, should have the book with you. Should write it down. Should have the page open. Should be looking at the lesson. Even prepare yourself before you come to the class or during the class. How you prepare yourself before you come to class? Well, you open the book. You look at the last lesson you was on, what we're going to do today, and then you, either if you before the class, read ahead. Read ahead. If you read ahead before the teacher, at least you have some clue what the teacher is going to talk about. And if you read ahead and you don't understand, then you know what questions to ask the teacher. Then you know what questions to ask the teacher. I'm not going over al-Jurumiyya, and sometimes when you comment, I don't look at the comments. I'm not going al-Jurumiyya. I'm just showing you the importance of this particular lesson today. I'm not going over al-Jurumiyya. But I know that al-Jurumiyya is a very common book that everybody knows book al-Jurumiyya. Right? Everybody knows what's al-Jurumiyya. Everybody knows this book. So I'm trying to show you that this lesson, Halatul Irab, the cases of the Irab, why it's very important. I only read the index of al-Jurumiyya just to show you it's very important learning and understand the terminology that you're going to get today. If you're not following us from the lesson, the book that we're using right now, then please, you're gonna waste a lot of my time, because we're only using the 2 books I just mentioned. If you don't find the link, if you don't know the link, go look on this page. I have the books we're using, where to download it. You gotta go look on your own. I'm not gonna stop to tell people where to go find the books and stuff no more, because it's just gonna waste our time. So Arabic Made Easy. Back to the lesson. Al-Idafa. So now Idafa means something very different. It means possessive case. Possessive case. So the author of the book, before he get into what is Idafa, he teaches you first Halatu I'rab, the cases for I'rab, or Aqsamu i'rab. Right? The different categories of i'rab. I'rab means grammatically breaking down words and sentences, breaking down the word, where the word falls in grammar. In Arabic, there are three cases: halatu i'rab, marfu' normative, mansub accusative, and majroor genitive. Ism or ismu bear cases sign in its last letter. If the ism is marfu', then the harakat, the vowel of its letter, it is dhamma. And I explained this already. With or without tanween. I explained this already. Kitabun. Kitabun is what? It is marfu' because the word is ending with the vowel dhamma or dhammatan. Kitabun and al-kitabu is marfu'. Right? It's dhamma. What do marfu' means? Marfu' means it's normal. Nothing is affecting the sign, or nothing is making it going to be kasra. Nothing is making it ending in fatha. It is marfu'. It's in a normal case. It's normal case, meaning there's nothing in grammar or word or a particle before it that's making this particular noun or this particular word, changing it to being kasra or fatha. So it's normal. If it has two dhammas or one dhamma, it is normal. Right? This is what marfu' means. Normative. Nothing in this sentence or grammatic is changing the ending of this vowel. If the ism is mansub, then the harakat, the vowel of the last letter, is in the fatha, with or without tanween. Kitaban, al-kitaba, are mansub. It is mansub. If the ism be majroor, then the harakat, meaning the vowel of the last letter, it is kasra, with or without tanween. Kitaban, al-kitabi, are majroor. The correlation of the two isms as correlations of the two nouns in the possessive case in English is al-Iḍāfa. Al-Iḍāfa means possessive case. Now he's talking about something else. Alright? Now he's not talking about what I explained to you before. Now he's talking about something else. Alright? Now he's talking about something else. Now he's talking about al-Iḍāfa. So what I read previously is breaking down what is i'rab, or the signs of i'rab, and it's very introduction way of breaking it down. Marfu means dhamma or dhammatan. Mansub means fatha or fathatan. Fatha or fathatan. Majroor meaning kasra or kasratan, meaning the word is ending in kasra or kasratan. Everybody understand this? I want to see people type yes or no. Everyone understand this? And now we're going to go to the actual lesson. What is idafa? Possessive case. Everyone who's following. At least I got 2 people following. At least I see 2 people following. Good. Now, before I read, let me explain idafa now. What is idafa? We have mudafu and mudafu ilayhi. Alright? One part of it is going to be the person who owns something and the thing that is owned. The clearest examples that you already have with you in Arabic, whether you know Arabic grammar or not, you already have some cases of idafa you memorize. And I mentioned them before. Kitabullahi, the book of Allah. Rasulullahi, the messenger of Allah. Alright? Miftahu masjidin. So I gave you some cases. I gave you some examples. Now let's talk about Kitabullahi. Kitabullahi. Let's talk about this. Now, this first word, Kitabullahi, let me write it down. Can't see nothing there. Kitabullahi. We're on page 15. Right now, I'm just explaining the lesson before we get reading the lesson of the Idafa. So, Kitabullahi. Usually, the first part of the Idafa is always Ma'rifa. It is always Ma'rifa. Kitabu is ending in what? It is Marfu', yes. And it's ending in what? One Dhamma, Marfu'. But did I explain from last week? When something is Marifa, definiteness, it must have what written on it? Who was here from the last class? What is the sign of the noun or adjective is Marifa, is definite? What are the signs? Somebody type it, please. Let me know who's on page. Who's paying attention? What are the signs that a noun, it is Marifa, it is definite? What has to be there? Somebody type it. Alif wa lam. Barakallahu fi. Alright? Alif and lam. But in this example I wrote in Kitabullahi. It's only ending with one Dhamma. Kitabu. Is that right? Is that correct? Kitabullahi. Is that correct? Yes or no? I'd like somebody to type it for me. Let me make my screen a little bit bigger. I can't see nothing. I'm blind as a bat. Let me blow up my page. Let me write it down. Let me put the vowels in it. Alif lam, somebody wrote, okay. This feature on my thing where I can't see what I'm typing, so that sounds better now. Can't see. Still can't see. Let's make this a little bit bigger. I think I really do need it. Why? I'm waiting. Here we go. It's too big. Too big. 400 is way too big. Sorry. Maybe next time I'll try to get a keyboard. Use a whiteboard. Kitabullahi. One Dhamma. Kitab should have one Dhamma on top. If I don't know if I wrote it wrong, I can't see. The script is so small. No one's answering. So, if it's correct or not, Kitabullahi, is it correct? Remember I told you sometimes a rule could be broken. Sometimes a rule can be broken. Now, kitabullahi. When you see a word like this, the first part have ending in one mark, and the second word ending in kasra, whether two or one, this is a clear sign that these two words are dealing with possessive case. Everyone understand this? Everyone understand this, yes or no? When you see two words, in the first part of the word is ending in dhamma and does not have alif and lam. The first word does not have alif and lam and it's ending with one mark. It can either be dhamma or fatha. It's ending in one mark. It is a sign. It is a sign that the word is ending in what? What is it? I'm waiting for somebody. I want to hear. I don't know. I want to hear something. Kitabullahi. So it's ending in one dhamma. It doesn't have alif lam. And the second word can have alif lam or not, but it ended in kasra or kasratan. That is the sign that these two words are dealing with possessive case. Kitabullahi. Kitab is the thing that is owned. Allah is the one who owns the object. Rasulullah, possessive case. Rasulu, the messenger of Allah. Rasulu, and in Dhamma. Have no alif lam, but it is marifa. It is definite case. But when you have al-Idafa, the first part of Idafa, it never accepts alif lam, but it ends in one mark. It never accepts alif lam, but it ends in one mark. The second part of the Idafa can have alif lam or not, but it must end in kasra or kasratan. Alright? It's very important. So when I see this pattern like this, Rasulullahi, Kitabullahi, I know it's talking, this is an example of possessive case. Kitabu Muhammadin, the book of Muhammad. Kitabu Muhammadin. Miftahu al-Masjidi. The second part now, for example, al-Masjidi, you notice I put alif lam on it. The second part of the word, or the second word of the idafa, it can either be with, it could be nakira or marifa, meaning you could write alif lam or not if you choose. You can write alif lam or not if you choose. Kitabu, book. Kitabu masjidin. So the first part, for example, kitabu, it cannot write, you cannot write alif lam. You cannot write it. But the word is definite. The word is definite. That's why it has one mark. Because it's definite. But the second word, it must end in kasra or kasratan. And when you see it written like this, or you hear it like this, you know what you're talking about. It's using in grammar al-idafa, the possessive case. Is understood, yes or no? Is this understood? Yes or no? I'm waiting. Understood, yes or no? Got a quiet crowd. Yes or no? Listen, I'm waiting. I'm not going to go nowhere until I hear an answer. Good. Somebody said yes. Somebody said only if it's ending in kasra. Correct. Kasra. Good. MashaAllah. Alright? So the second part ends in kasra. The first part, dhamma. Or fatha. The first part could be marfu or mansub. And in rare cases, it could be kasra. But only ending, the first part only ends in one mark. One mark. And alif lam cannot be written on it. But it is marifa. It is definite. The first part is always definite. And it always ends in one mark. But you could never write on it alif lam. Because if you write on alif and lam in front of it, then it's no longer al-idafa. It's no longer a possessive case. So when I see things written down in Arabic, I wish I had a board here. I have my boards upstairs somewhere. If I see written down in Arabic, Kitabullahi, I know these two words are in possessive case. If I put alif lam in front of the first word or something, then I know it's not possessive case. So when I see it written like this, ending in dhamma, no alif lam on it, the second word ending in kasra, if alif lam could be on the second word or not, but it must end in kasra or kasratan, then I know for sure this is possessive case. The second part must always end in kasra or kasratan, except for if it's a word. There's some words in Arabic that it cannot accept kasra at the end. You have some words in Arabic, right? We learn that later from mamnoon min al-sarf. There's some words that cannot accept kasra, like female names. For example, I want to say the book of Fatima, Kitabu. I can't say Kitabu Fatimati. This is kata. This is wrong. Because these female names don't accept kasra. So I would have to say Kitabu Fatimata. Alright? Well, that's not ready for now. You're not ready for that. It's over the heads of the people. Right? But in general, the second part must end in kasra. That's general. Because these words, mamnoon al-musarf, it's not every word, and it's going to be mamnoon al-musarf in Arabic. Only a few words or a small group of words. Alright? So the second part must always end in kasra or kasratan, and it can accept alif lam. When I write alif lam in front of a verb, is when I'm talking about atakallam bi shay'in muayyan. And I'm talking about a specific thing, then I would make it the word definite. Alright? If I'm not talking about something specific, then I make it nakira, indefinite. Right? That's a bonus lesson. But the second part can accept alif and lam, but it must end in kasra. It can end in one kasra or two kasras. Kitabullahi. Allah is ending in one kasra because Allah is always definite. Kitabullahi. I'm never going to say Kitabullahin. Qat shadid. This is a big mistake. Kitabullahi. Rasulullahi. Miftahu al-masjidi. Kitabu masjidin. The key of the masjid. Miftahu al-masjidi. So I said miftah, which means key. Al, making the word masjid definite. Al-masjidi, ending in one mark. Miftahu masjidin. I made the word masjid indefinite, is ending in two kasras. So the second part always ending kasra, and it can accept alif lam or not. The first part never accepts alif lam, and it only have one mark. There's no tanween. The first part, no tanween with the first part. No tanween with the first part. It always end in one mark, like dhamma, like fatha. One mark. Kitabu Lahi. Miftahu al-masjidi. Miftahu masjidin. Understood? Yes or no? Before we move on, before I start reading the lesson. I explain the lesson before we read it, Because sometimes when you read it, the way the author used words in English, sometimes it appears to be a little odd, or it doesn't make sense, or some words that he's using, people get confused. I just made the lesson very easy right now. Right now, I made the lesson very easy. I explained it very easy. First part, never have alif or lam. Never. But it's definite. And it ends with one mark. The second part of it, the second word, it can accept alif or lam, but it must end in kasra. Very easy. Very simple. Now I'm reading the bottom, the last sentence on page 15. The correlation of two isms as a correlation of two nouns in the possessive case in English, which is called al-Idafa. Babu, Baitin. Give examples. Bab means door, Bait means house. Babu, Baitin. So you can see Bab, it doesn't have alif lam, but it has one dhamma. So it's definite, but we don't write alif lam on it. Babu Baitin. The door of the house. The door of a house. The door of a house. Babu Baitin. The second wording of it, Bait, is ending in kasra. It's ending in kasra. So the first word never accept alif lam, but it is definite and it ends with one mark, the first word. The second word must always be or always end in kasra. Always end in kasra, one or two, and it could be definite or an indefinite. And have to write it. I can write alif lam on the word or not. A door of a house. This construction is al-Idafa. The ism correlates is called mudafu. And the ism to which it correlates is called mudafu ilayhi, the thing that is owned. Alright? The thing that possesses the object. In the example, Babu Baitin, a door of a house. Babun is the al-Idafa. The word Bab here is the Idafa. And Baitin is mudafu ilayhi. The thing that owns the door in this case. The house owns it. It's the door of the house. Right? Mudafu ilayhi. Those two terms must memorize. First is al-Idafa, which means possessive case. Mudafu wal mudafu ilayhi. Mudafu means the thing that is owned, and mudafu ilayhi means the thing that possesses it. The thing that owns possessive case. Next example. Kitabu Zaydin. Yes. No, hold on. Silly sister Lily, you said the mudaf is the possessor. I'm on page 16 now. I'm in this book right here. Arabic Made Easy. Page 16. So the mudaf is the thing that is owned. The thing that is owned. Mudafu ilayhi is the thing, the possessor of the item. Alright, sister? I hope you don't, because I was reading what you were saying and you had me a little confused for a second. It's the opposite the way you've written it. Because here in example, Bab, the door, is the thing that is owned. Who owns it? The house does. It's the house door, right? So Bab is the mudaf. The thing that is owned. Or, right, the thing that is possessed. And the possessor of an item is the mudafu ilayhi. Alright? The possessor of the item is the mudafu ilayhi. I hope you understand that. Back to the example of the book. Kitabu Zaydan. Kitabu Zaydan. The book of Zayd. Or Zayd's book. Sha'aru imra'atin. The hair of a woman, or the woman's hair. Bintu Hindin. The daughter of Hind. So here, Kitabu Sha'aru Bintu is Al-Idafa. Alright? Read that again. It says Kitabu Sha'aru Bintu are Al-Mudaf. The things that are owned. And Zayd and Imrat and Hind, Zayd is somebody's name, Imrat means woman, Hind is a female's name, are Mudafu ilayhi, the possessor of the item. Al-Mudafu never takes tanween or alif wa lam. Al-Mudafu ilayhi is invariable, meaning it ends in majroor. It is kasra, majroor. Kitabu Zaydan. He wrote an example. I'm sorry. He wrote an example. Kitabun Zaydan or Al-Kitabu Zaydan are incorrect. So the examples he wrote here at the end of that paragraph are incorrect ways of writing it. Incorrect. Which I explained. If the mudafu ilayhi be marifa, the possessor be marifa, and the mudafu, the thing that is owned, automatically becomes marifa. Babu Baitin, a door of a house. Babu al-Baiti, the door of the house. Then he writes the example, which is incorrect. Al-Babu al-Baiti, this is wrong, because the first part of it can never accept alif wa lam, but it's marifa. But you just don't write the alif wa lam, and it ends in one mark. If the idea is to make al-mudafu naqira and to make al-mudafu ilayhi marifa, then the construction will not be according to the rules of idafa, but preposition li. I didn't introduce you what is prepositions. We have some words, al-harf, right? Or hurufu jarrin, right? Hurufu jarrin. And maybe I have to introduce a lesson with that, because they teach you this, but they don't teach what are hurufu jarrin, or harfu jarrin, hurufu jarrin. What are the letters that make a noun or adjective ending in kasra? And we didn't explain that. He didn't explain that yet in the lesson, so I might have to write a lesson, special lesson for this. So he says that if you want to make it the idaf, he said you use the preposition li. Li means owner of something. Means belongs to or for. He said that we use preposition li will be used. Babun li baiti. Right? A door of the house. I don't want to go over that example that he's using because I don't want to confuse you. That's not important right now. Actually, that's actually not important right now. because that way it confuses you. Later on, I have to make a special lesson teaching you what are pulling letters. What are letters that make nouns majrur? Because I don't see no lesson on that, and I will do that. I will make a special lesson on that. Next paragraph, that ending paragraph, it says sometimes ismu as-sifat, ismu as-sifati is correlated with is al mawsuf. Mawsuf means describing something that's describing the noun. Of the rules of idafa, qabihu shakli. I don't want to go through that right now. Qabihu is the sifat, right? Qabih means ugly, and shaklu is the mawsuf, the thing that's being described. And they are correlated according to the rules of idafa. Qabihun is al-mudafun, and shakl is mudafu ilayhi. The correlation of the sifat is with the mawsuf. It's called al-idafa sifat ila al-mawsuf. That's not really important right now. I don't think people are ready for that right now. So we will pause for that on that lesson. On this, we will pause right here because I like to go over adjectives in more details. And this book right now is not giving you a lot of adjectives and the rules like we learned already. So we're not going to go through that full lesson right here in this book. We're just going to go through what I told you. Al-mudaf wa mudaf ilayhi, al-idafa. That's what we're going to focus on. The possessive case. And the mudaf, al-mudafu, and mudafu ilayhi. Babu baytin, the door of the house, of a house. The bab, the thing that is being owned, is called the mudaf. The mudaf, the thing that's possessed. Mudafu ilayhi, the one who owned the object, is the possessor. Babu masjidin. Babu masjidin, for example. Or babu baytin. This is that example from the book. Babu baytin. Bab, the word bab. Babu is the mudaf. Babu baytin. Baytin is al-mudafu ilayhi, the one who, the possessor of the item, which is the house door. There's other examples that he mentioned here. I don't think everybody is ready for them. Sifat wal mawsuf, the thing that describes the noun, or that related to the adjective. We worry about that later on. Which is actually a good lesson here. He explained it real well. I don't know if everybody ready for it though. It's an excellent lesson right here. We're going to do half of it today. I'll do that other half next week. Because I have to introduce you to some things in here that he's talking about later on in that same chapter. And the mawsuf. Mawsuf is related to the sifat. Describing the sifat, or the noun that's being described. So let's break it down now. What is al-idafa? Somebody write down the example. What is idafa? Aliyah. Write it down again. Aliyah wrote it well. Aliyah Yusuf. Mudaf is the possessed, and the mudaf ilayhi is the possessor. That's good. Abu Musa, if you lost, if this is the first time you're in the class, you're going to be lost. Abu Musa, if this is the first time you're in the class, you're going to be lost. It's the fourth lesson. If you miss the introduction, which is the first lesson, and the second lesson, and the third lesson, you're going to be lost. Abu Musa, if you miss those 3 lessons, you need to go back to lesson 1, go over lesson 1, go over lesson 2, go over lesson 3. Inshallah. Then you probably catch up a little bit. Related to sister, I know if you miss, you're going to be lost. If you just go review go and look, when you have time, go look at the other videos. Go get caught up. Because to catch you up right now is, it's going to be too much to catch you up. Because I believe the other videos, whoever followed them, I explain things very simple. So al-Idafah is possessive case. Excellent. Continue, Sister Aliyah. Abu Musa, what book you have? What book we looking up? Sister Aliyah, continue. Sister Aliyah, continue. I want you to write it, Sister Aliyah, everything in one text, in one comment, everything in one comment. Sister Aliyah, I want you to text everything in one comment. Take your time. And we have some quiet peoples here. I want the people sleeping, not texting, not commenting. I want to hear something from you guys. It lets me know who's understanding and who's not. This is very important right here. This right here is very important class. Does anybody don't understand anything? Yeah, Arabic made easy, yes. Anybody doesn't understand anything, this is the time to ask right now. So when we go to the next lesson, it's going to be more complicated. And I mentioned that in my other videos for the class. I mention these things. And even the videos I make during the week, the little review, reminders about learning Arabic, I mention all the time. Reviewing is the key to Arabic. Reviewing is the key. Anybody have any questions, anything in the lesson they didn't understand? I try my best to make it simple, more simple than what the book is. Because on page 17, 16, and 17, that's not important. Page 16 at the end about the lead, that's not right. That's part of al-harf, al-harfu jar, or hurufu jar. That's another lesson. Like fi, ala, bi, an, fawqa. There's another lesson. Which I don't know if they have even a good lesson. Did they even explain that in this book? Hurufu jar, yes. It's lesson 8 actually. So I don't know why he's talking about that stuff now. This is only lesson 4. So actually lesson 8. We could jump to lesson 8, matter of fact. We could jump to lesson 8. Because actually, I think when I learned this book many years ago, I think we jumped through chapters. We didn't go through every chapter, we jumped. I can't take alif lam and mudaf ilayhi, can't take alif lam and always at kasra or kasra. So the mudaf can't take alif lam, excellent. And the mudaf ilayhi can take alif lam and always is kasra or kasra tan or kasra, yes. And there's a rule that could be broken to that, but yes, all right, that's correct, all right. But let you know, put in your mind, deep in your mind, that rule could be broken in some cases. Like I said, words are mamnu min al-sarf, right? Words that does not accept tanween, like I told you, the female names, they can't take kasra. Like Fatima, it's Fatima too. Don't take tanween, all right? Kitabu Fatimata. Right? Ibrahim. The name Ibrahim is from Mamnun min al-Sarf. Is words that do not accept tanween. So, Kitabu Ibrahima, for example, right? Certain names, like the names from Bani Israel, their names, a lot of the names from Bani Israel are from Mamnun min al-Sarf. They accept tanween. Majority of them, right? Like Ibrahim, right? Like Ibrahim doesn't accept alif lam. Ibrahim does not accept tanween, right? There's some other male names that have ta marbuta. We went over it last week. What are the signs or words that are feminine, right? And I mentioned that some words are feminine. Some words end with a ta'ul marbuta, but they are masculine, like usamatu, talhatu, right? So I want to say the book of Taha, right? Kitabu, talhata, right? Like usamatu ends with ta'ul marbuta, but it's from mamnun min sarf also, right? Kitabu usammata, right? Like those examples. So you have some names are from mamnun min sarf, for example, right? Like Ibrahim, Kitabu, Ibrahima. But names are not from mamnun min sarf, like Muhammad, Muhammad, Khalid, right? These names, Muhammad and Khalid. Kitabu Muhammadin, Kitabu Zaydin, for example, right? So that rules go, right? So you understand that. But the rule, how you understand it, is clear. Can the mudaf take a single fatha? Yes. In some cases, yes. But put that rule in the back of your head. Don't focus too much on the rule right now, but yes, in the back of your head, keep it there. Because when we get deeper now into verbs, when the word with the mudaf, in some cases, when some particle change the mudaf into mansub, the first one, it could change it into mansub, being ended in fatha. You're going to see these examples there. All right? But put it in the back of your mind, there, that these rules, the first part, that's why I said I was talking for the mudaf, that's what I always said, it ends in one mark. I really didn't say, Dhamma only. I said ends with one mark, right? The first part ends with one mark. One mark could be fatha. One mark could be Dhamma. But in examples you're going to see in the beginning now, it's going to be Dhamma. Majority going to show with Dhamma because you don't understand what makes words or nouns turn to fatha yet. You haven't got through those lessons yet. Words, like for example, fi, baitin, fi, baiti, fi means in. Fi makes the ism, the noun, to end in kasra. Fi, right? Baitin, for example, or fi al baiti, right? It makes the word bait be kasra, majroor. Now when it say you make this word bait into al-إضافة now. Fi baiti Muhammadin. Alright? Fi in the house of Muhammad. Fi baiti Muhammadin. That's the example. The first part ending in one kasra. The idaf, the first part of it, the mudaf ending in one kasra. Right? You understand? So that's why I said end in one mark. The first part ends in one mark. The second part ends in kasra. Kasra. Always, majority of the time, it's going to be kasra. Right? The majority of the time, it's going to be kasra. He did explain it in lesson. I didn't read it yet. But nothing comes between these two words. A particle, nothing could really become between the mudaf and mudaf ilayhi. There's no other word or thing that come between the mudaf and mudaf ilayhi, except for some cases, maybe in poetry. Because in Arabic poetry, rules are broken in grammar. Right? I think he even mentioned that. So, Sister Ali, I hope I answered your question. But the fundamental understanding of it, I explained. But those others rule I just mentioned, let's put that somewhere in the back of your mind, meaning it's not important right now, but it's important later on. Because maybe one day you start reading on your own, And you can see, oh, that's mudafa, but the first part has kasra, or the first part has fatha, and then in one fatha. The first part has one fatha, or one kasra. You understand why I said ends in one mark. All right? And the second part, al-mudaf ilayhi, could be written alif lam and ending in kasra or kasratan. But in some cases, you're going to see the word is mamnun min as-sarf. We worry about that later on, not right now, because everybody else is going to get lost. All right? Any questions, Aliyah? Anybody have any questions? Somebody tell me. What is the meaning of marfu? Everyone tell me. What do marfu means? Everyone should type. Everybody should be commenting. If you go to Facebook, we go to people's chats on Facebook, or post people's posts on people's accounts on Facebook. Somebody say something, everybody be commenting, right? Real quick. Now this is the time right now to be commenting. What is marfu? Okay. Ending in dhamma. Excellent. Shakur. You say normative case. Right? Dhamma, dhamma. Ending in dhamma. Good. Normal stage. What is majroor? What is majroor? Very important lesson. This lesson is very important. What is majroor now? Majroor. Majroor. No. Shakur. No. No. Ending in kasra. Ending in kasra, kasratan. Excellent. Alright, Shakur. Majroor. We say in Arabic, jar wal majroor. Right? Jar wal majroor. Later on, we're going to see those lessons. Jar wal majroor. I think I have a book, Medina Book 3. The third book of Medina explained the introduction of that very well. Majroor. Alright? Jar wal majroor. Alright? That's what you see the term. And then in kasra or kasratan. Excellent. What is mansoob? Mansoob. Mansoob. Mixed up? No. Oh, you're talking about mansoob. Cheat. Mansoob. Cheat. Cheat. And then in fatah or fatatan. Nasb. Bil fatah. MashaAllah tabarak. Huh? Aliyah. There you go. We're missing somebody. Musa. Abu Musa. Huh? Bonus. Huh? Extra credit. Bonus question. I didn't teach it. I didn't teach this yet. What's juzm? What's juzm? I didn't teach this yet. Bonus question. I ain't teach this yet. I don't see where everybody at. No one know what juzm mean. La muskil. I'm not going to give no answer. Now I'm going to ask questions of something that we already studied in the past. What are the signs or words are feminine? Oh. What are the signs? Feminine. Feminine case. Explain the rules of feminine case. That's the student who pay attention to the other lessons. I can tell who is here. Pay attention to the other lessons. What are the signs that a word is feminine, a noun is feminine? What are the signs? Ta' and marbuta, what else? More than that. What else? You gotta go listen to lesson 2 and 3. I'll go over in lesson 2 and 3. Huh? Meaning in nature? No, 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 Aliyah. You missed the other lessons. That's a sign. You gotta go and listen to lesson number 2 and 3. But lesson number 3, I do mention it all over again. I reviewed in lesson 3. Countries and cities, names of country, cities, and towns. Yes, Shakur, mashallah. Who else? Tanithu. That's something else. Tanithu. That's not what I'm looking for. Talk about nouns right now. All letters of the Arabic alphabet. Excellent. All letters of the Arabic alphabet. Words and female names ending in ta marbuta, or words ending in ta marbuta except for male names that end in ta marbuta. Excellent. Things that are in pairs? No. Your sentence is incomplete, Ivory. You need to add something in there. Things that are in pair? No. No. You're close. I know you're going to mention something you're forgetting to write. Body parts that are in pair. That's the correct answer. All body parts that are feminine. All body parts? No. All body parts that are pairs. Edit your sentence. All body parts that are pairs are feminine. Body parts that are pair. 2 hands, 2 eyes in pair. زوج. عندهم زوج. مثلا يد مؤنث. Hands are in pair. Eyes are in pair. Arms in pair. Legs in pair. Foot pair. Udhun, ears pair. They are feminine. All body parts that are in pair, meaning 2 of them, they are feminine. All letters from the Arabic alphabet are feminine. All names of cities, countries, and towns are feminine in general. What else? Y'all mentioned something. There's some words that don't end with ta marbuta and they're feminine. What are some of these words? There are some nouns that do not have ta marbuta, but they are feminine. We went over that last week. في عربية in Arabic. في عربية. Aliyah, she's close. She's close, but she had to write in Arabic. You're close too, go write in Arabic. You gotta practice some vocab, but we're gonna have maybe another session another time. Maybe I make an extra section or session on vocabulary. But yeah, Shams, Ard, Nar, fire, Suq, market. But different opinion. Some say Suq could be either or, masculine or feminine. But in general, it's feminine. Jahannam, feminine. Trying to think on the top of my head. Suq, Nar, Rih, Nafs, Dar, Bi', well, Khamr, alcohol. Khamr really means alcohol. Intoxicant. The word khamr really means intoxicant, not just the word. There's another word in Arabic for wine, but khamr means intoxicant, any type of intoxicant. What are the signs that a word is a noun, an ism? What are the signs that a word is an ism now? What are the signs that a word is an ism? So let me know who paid attention from the other videos. What are the signs? Tanween, excellent. Alif Lam, excellent. Are there more? Let me sit and think. Are there more signs? Verbs. Fi'lu. Verbs indicate on what time. How do we know a verb in Arabic? From what I taught you. There's a lot of things for the signs of verbs. From what I taught you. What three tenses for verbs? What are the three tenses for verbs? Past, present, and future. Excellent. Can I add alif, lam, or tanween on a verb? Can I add alif, lam, and tanween on a verb? Can I add alif, lam, and tanween on a verb? Someone says no. Who say yes? Who say yes? Aliyah said no. Well, who said yes? I want to know who said yes. Aliyah says no. But I want to know who says yes. Anybody here say yes? You got alif, lam, and tanween on the verb? Why not? Why not? Why not? Aliyah, why can't I add alif, lam, and tanween on the verb? Why not? I want to know why. Somebody came into the class and asked, why can't I add alif, lam, and tanween on the verb? It's mabni. All verbs are not mabni. الفعل المضارع ليس مبني. الفعل المضارع ليس مبني. Present tense verb is not mabni, it's mu'rab. So that can't be the answer. Because فعل المضارع ليس مبني, mu'rab. Because it doesn't make sense. That's part of the answer, yes, but not the answer I'm looking for. Because alif, lam, and tanweens are signs of a ism. That's why. Alif, lam, and tanween is a sign of a ism. Everybody hear that? Alif, lam, and tanween, a word except alif, lam or not, or tanween or not. I mean, I can either make it tanween or not, or I can add alif, lam to the word or not if I choose to. That's the signs. These things are the signs that this word is a ism. And it's not a harf, and it's not a verb. It's not a fi'l. Makes sense. Alright? That makes sense. That ruling makes sense. What is kalam? What is kalam? What is the condition of kalam? From what I taught you. It's not in the book. It's not in the book. I mentioned this in the video. Maybe two videos. For two videos I mentioned this. What is kalam? What is kalam? It has 4 conditions. Who was paying attention to my other classes? That's why I gotta listen to the other videos. Maybe people getting sleepy now. Maybe people getting tired. Maybe people getting tired. Maybe if you wasn't on the computer, you be browsing the internet on Facebook. You chatting. You blowing up the comment section. Clicking like, smiling faces, laughing. Come on. Make the comment area here. Gotta make the comment area in this video right here. You gotta make it like 100 comments at least. Huh? Alufs. Good. Aliyah. Alufs. What else? What is kalam? Somebody said lufs. Al-murakkab. What else? Al-kalam. Wa-lufs. Wal-murakkab. What else? What else? اللفظ المركب المثير بالوادع ألف لام بال. That is Hamza, so you don't pronounce the alif, but it's written بالوادع. Waw, dad, ayn. No wow, no harf of wow. المفيد. Sooner or later we're going to go over in this book Jamla Ismiya. Later on, not today, later on, maybe next month, maybe later on this month, the next lesson or so. Okay, what about a harf? What did I tell you about a harf? Because we know the 3 parts of speech is ism, fi'lu, ism, al-ism, wal-fi'lu, wal-harf. الاسم والفعل والحرف. What is a harf? What did I teach you about what a harf is? Defining what it is. I give you a little taste of the answer. The meanings are not. Come on. What is a harf? Particle doesn't make sense by itself. The meaning is not complete by itself. Because la makes sense. It makes sense, but the meaning is not complete. It's not conveyed. To the listener, it's not conveyed. La. What about la? La ilaha illallah, for example. The answer to it. So the particles, they work with what? It's a word which does not convey complete meaning when it stands alone. Excellent. Mumtaz. MashaAllah. Mumtaz. MashaAllah. Somebody study Arabic. I can tell this person right here study Arabic. Right here. The word which does not convey complete meaning when it stands alone. Excellent. So it needs an ism or fi'lu to work with it. Either or. To convey its meaning. Take that note down. Write that down. Everyone write that down. Abu Musa, you need to write that down. Why does the order, or aqsamul kalam, the sections of kalam, or ajza'ul kalam, the parts of speech in Arabic is 3. Why is it in the order al-ism, wal-fi'lu, wal-harf? Why is it in that order? Why ism is first? Why I have to say ism first? Why can't I say fi'lu first? Why al-ism, wal-fi'lu, wal-harf? Why? Thinking time. Thinking cap. Everybody put their thinking kufis and they thinking kimars. Got to put it on. Time to be thinking. Why ism? Why fi'lu? Why harf? I gave a long explanation of this in one of the videos. Why you have to listen to the videos. Majority words of all words in Arabic are ism, even though the root word comes from a verb. Not 100% right. It's not the answer I'm looking for. It has some truth to what you're saying. Not the answers I'm looking. Not the answer I'm looking for. It's partially of the answer. Because the majority of words in Arabic are ism. Excellent, Aliyah. So, Lily or Lilu, Lily or Lilu, Lilu and Aliyah, and you mix your answers together. So, majority words of Arabic are ism. Right? And then the remaining words after Arabic, the majority are ism. And the remaining after that are verbs. And the remaining after that are particles. Right? Then I mentioned it earlier. This is just an add-on. It's aside from it. I added on that verbs are very important in Arabic because every word, all nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, no, mostly nouns and adjectives, all of them come from a verb, past tense verb. Alright? But there's more isms than verbs. So majority of the words are ism. Then after that, fi'lu. Then after that, harf, particles. Alright? But I mentioned on a side note, that was a side note, that all isms and sifats, the adjectives and the nouns, all of them are rooted from a past tense verb. That's why verbs are very important in Arabic. Why ism fi'l wa harf? How do we look at, I spoke about this before, what's so important about ism fi'l wa harf related to a sentence? What am I able to do with a sentence related to ism fi'l wa harf? Why that's important? Why that's important? Why that's important? Why al-ism wa fi'l wa harf is very important to a sentence? Why? What about these three things? I mentioned it. I gave you an example about letters, 3 letters. Jim, Ha, and Kha. Who was paying attention? Huh? Had the AC on here. It was freezing. AC let me know when it's time to go. When it gets too cold, when it's time to class. Huh? Huh? Lilo. Aliyah Yusuf. You wasn't listening to all my videos. Oh, see, I know who listens to the videos and who don't. Musa, where your ears at now? Where you at, Musa? I got 5 viewers. 5. Out of 5, one of them is me, so it's 4 viewers. Maybe more. Huh? To differentiate the words. There we go. So I'm able to grammatically break down each word in a sentence. Bismillahi ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismi, the ba. Harfu ba is a particle. Bismillahi. Lahi. Bismi. Bismi. The me sound. Bismi is really ba. Particle. Bismi is really ism. Ism means name. In the name of Allah. That's a what? A ism. Bismi lahi. Allah is what? Allah is a what? An ism. Bismillahi ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman is an ism. Ar-Rahim is an ism. Alright? Darraba Muhammad. Darraba Muhammadun Zaydan. Darraba is what? It's a verb. The fi'lu. Muhammad is a what? Muhammad is what? A ism. Zayd is a ism. Hada kitab. Not but hada kitab. What is Ismu istifham. Huh? It's an ism. Huh? Nah, it's a harf actually. Al-hada kitab that's a harf. It's a particle. Because ah and hal are particles. It's harf. Alright? Ah, hada. What's hada? Ism ishara. It's an ism. Al hada kitab. Kitab is a what? Ism. Man hada. Who is this? Men. Men is ism istifham, so it's an ism. Man hada. Hada what? Ism ishara. So it's an ism. Alright? Very important. Very important. So the ism wa fi'l wa harf, I could grammatically break down the sentence in the word. You know, Quran, we have tafsir of Quran. But many of us, we don't study usul tafsir. Usul tafsir. Usul tafsir breaks down the sciences of tafsir and the different types of tafsir. You have a tafsir of Quran that's based upon al-i'rab, grammatically breaking down each sentence of a word. That's why grammar is very important in Arabic language. The Arabic grammar, so I can break down the sentence, what it means grammatically. Allah saying in Quran, Hada siharan. Huh? Look at the ayat. I don't want to quote it wrong. Quran ayat. Hada siharan. See this. Showing you why grammar is very important in Arabic language, and understanding grammar is very important to Quran. I use that example another time. I couldn't find an example, but I want to show you something many people who are enemies of Islam, especially from the Arab, you're going to say, oh, Quran has mistakes. Some grammatical rules of Quran. In some places in Quran, some rules that are common in grammar are altered and changed. And it's some of the eloquence of the miracle of the Quran. And it's some of the different styles of reading Quran. I was looking for one of them. Actually, I know where it's at. It's on my website. Why grammar and breaking down Arabic language is very important. So let me just do this something real quick. Let me just change my thing to English. Let me change this real quick to Al Madrasa Ula. I did write an article about this. I want to show you in grammar why i'rab is very important when it comes to Quran. Maybe another class I will break down some of the sciences, how grammar was protected from the time of the Prophet ﷺ to now. Why scholars wrote books on Arabic grammars to protect the language, even from amongst the Arab, from the past, after the time of the Tabi'in, many of them, due to Islam growing and now Muslims coming to Islam, this is when the scholars really focus on the rules and grammar in detail to preserve the language, because they had a lot of people who embraced Islam who didn't have the mother tongue as Arabic. And the Arabs start mixing, intermarrying these peoples and mixing with these peoples, and so that to preserve some of the rules of grammar, they made up the rules of Nahu. Even in the time of some of the Sahaba, I'm just looking for one of my posts. Here I have a post. It's called "The Importance of Arabic Grammar and the Basic of Fiqh." Right? I'm reading from Madrasa Uda. I'm just going through some of my posts. Let's look at older posts. I broke out a few verses of this particular verse in Quran. Hey, I wrote an article. Another benefit of understanding Quran in Arabic and not depending on translation. I even use examples of how some translation don't get detail in the meaning of the ayat in Arabic. Okay, WhatsApp group. Come on, let's go, Muhammad. Let's look for this thing. Play this for grammar. I must have lost the article. I must have lost it or something. No, I didn't lose this thing, man. Let me see. Let me keep on looking. I know I didn't lose this article. Maybe I written it in Arabic. I didn't write it in English. Maybe I skipped it. Yeah, I think maybe it's here. I don't remember this thing. I can't even find it right now. I really want to show you this. Common mistakes or tafsir. Maybe I have in a section of tafsir. How to videos. That's for business. Common mistakes in Arabic. In general. Maybe I put it in there. Not even. I ain't even got my site really hooked up well for going back and looking at things that I posted. It's for the class. Maybe I wrote it in Arabic. That's something else. Maybe I did write it in Arabic. I probably wrote it. I probably didn't translate it. It needs to go back and look real quick. Arabic and fiqh. That's something for looking for teachers. Here we go. Man, it's right in front of me. I'm just blind as a bat. Here we go. Another benefit of understanding Quran in Arabic and not depending on translations. Here you go. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to post a link here. I'm going to post it so we can see it. Let me post it. Just in case y'all people's left me. So don't leave me yet. I got 6 viewers. Allahu A'lam. It says here 3. It says on my iPad 6. Okay, so I post a link, right? Ivy, I'm just looking for something. So here's a link. I wrote an article, and it says another benefit. I want to show you the importance of Arabic grammar. Another benefit of knowing the Arabic language is knowing that you cannot depend on translators of Quran or interpretations due to it is missing the balagha, the eloquence of the Quran, and the power usage of the Arabic language of the Quran. I like to show you my point with a verse in Quran. So Allah says in Quran, قالوا إن هذان لسحران يريد أن يخرجاكم من أرضكم. Right? So I'm reading partial. I'm reading partial of the ayat. So I'm showing you some wordings. Right? So I said, they said, very, these are 2 magicians. This this object is to drive you out of your land. This is talking to Pharaoh, his advisors, talking about Musa. Right? So I said the ayah, قالوا إن هذان لسحران. Right? So some scholars ask about, which of this verse in hadani siharan. For those who know the Arabic language a little bit, he might say it's wrong. They might say it's supposed to be in hadani li siharan, right? Or li siharani, right? So I said there's different styles of Quran. Some people interpret the word in as being a harf, that it's like make the word at least mansub, right? Some say, and some scholars say, no, in here means yes, right? In here means yes. So in different styles of qira'at, they would read it different. And one qira'at of reading the Quran, it would say, in hadaini li siharan. And these two are musicians, right? So when I go look at Arabic grammar and the rules of Arabic grammar, it's very important. When I look at some of the rules in grammar and I want to break down sentences or look at what this word means. So the word in hadani li siharan, right? In hadani siharan. One qira'at, one style of reading. Another qira'at reading, in hadaini li siharan. Right? So this is the different two qira'at of Quran. Why there's two different readings? Why the word is changed here? This is the different style that the Quran is revealed. Because the Arabs have different dialects. But there's some benefits in the meaning. One scholar says in here, it's not a tawqid or giving us like an emphasis. Where here it means na'am, yes. So grammar is very important, especially when it comes to Quran. For example, if I look at some ayats in Quran, my teacher gave me, one of my professors, one of the teachers that I talked to on my page on Facebook, he's an Arabic teacher. So I made a video yesterday, and I was talking about Shiite in English. I made a video on my page. So I said, what is a Shiite in English? So he typed to me in Arabic, he says, I'm going to read it. Why grammar is very important in Arabic. And it has different meanings and usage in English. So he said to me, I'm just looking for the post, I'm sorry. Then we're going to end the class. If somebody has to go now, it's okay. Because the learning part is over. I just want to show some examples. I was waiting for this thing to load. Okay, good. Go down. My internet is slow here. It's real slow. Come on, let's go, guys. Here we go. So he wrote to me. I'd like to see what he wrote. If I can see his post, I sure can't. He says to me in Arabic, "Qul manhum ash-Shia." Manhum ash-Shia. He said to me, saying in Arabic, he tells me to write Arabic because I titled, "What is a Shia?" So he says to me in Arabic, "Qul man Shia." What is a Shia? So I wrote to him, and I said Arabic and English, the usage is not the same. I told him in Arabic language. I'm going to show you what I told him. And he gave me a good example in Quran. Why Nahu is important in Quran. So I told him in Arabic, I said, Assalamu alaikum ya ustaz. كيف حالكم في لغة إنجليزية في العنوان يستطيع أن يقول ما السبب كست ليس منهم فقط ومعنى ما أكيد شيء ومنهم فهذا السبب أقول في نقط اللغة بصوت بعد ما شيع ومن شيع لبينا الموضوع في ألوان في لغة إنجليزية هنا القواعد معروف أحيانا to guide. So I said to him, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I said, in the English language, the title is able to change. So I said to change, the title is able to change to ma, what? Because my intention, because the intention is not who. I'm not talking about who is Shiite. Because if I say in English, who is Shiite, you're going to say, oh, this person is Shiite. I'm going to talk about their Aqidah, for example, right? And I said that said ma Shia, ma, and I asked him, when I'm asking this ma, the meaning is, what is the Aqidah of the Shia and who are they? So I said, in my title, what is Shia? It means both. But English and Arabic is not the same when it comes to using English. How a person use Arabic is, when we come to English, we won't use English the same way Arab use Arabic when it comes to English, right? So I'm explaining that to him in Arabic language, right? Then I tell him that I explain it in the subject, in the title. I explain ma Shiite. Then I introduce with my mouth, my tongue speaking. I told him what is Shiite and who is Shiite. What is a Shiite and who is Shiite? Because I put in the title, who is Shiite, it gets into maybe this person, that person. I said, what is a Shiite? I want to talk about all of it. What's their Aqidah and who are they in general? All right, then he gave me a good example. He says, oh, he understands how I use ma. So he gives me an ayat in Quran. That's why grammar is very important in the Quran. He says, Alaykum salam rahmatullahi barakatuh. كلامك هذا له الوجه إن كنت تقصده وفي قرآن قوله تعالى قال فرعون وما رب العالمين. Right? He says, so he says in Quran, Allah says, and Pharaoh said, and what is your Lord the Most High? Right? So he says ma, and he doesn't say who, for example. So I looked at that when he said in the verse in Quran, it makes me ponder, why he didn't say who is your Lord? Because he's telling me in Arabic I should use the word men. Right? He's telling me in Arabic. He says, why don't you say men Shiite? Who are Shiite? Why you use the word ma Shiite? Why you use this the word to istifham? Right? Grammar is very important in Arabic. And I'm breaking them down in English and Arabic. Grammar is not the same and not through how we use it, especially when we make titles. Or we use a title for something. I can use this, let him know that. Even in Arabic, you do the same thing. He breaks me down. Okay. He said, oh, I see that example in Quran. Pharaoh says, Ma Rabbul Alameen. Right? Ma could be here. If I look up the i'rab of the ayat, ma can be either mean ad-dawatu istifham, what, or it can mean ismu mawsula. It could even mean ismu mawsula, like who is he. There's some forms it can mean this, or it could be that even if Pharaoh is degrading Allah, right? So what I would do is I would take this ayat, I will go look up in Tafsir al-Quran, which is the i'rab of Tafsir al-Quran, explain the grammatical meaning of the Quran. Then it would break it down and tell me what is the meaning of ma here. That's why grammar is very important. Because I look at this ayat, I might say the ma means, is he like insulting Allah? Or is it meaning here ismu mawsula? You understand? So grammar is very important. If I want to interpretate this, I have to go look up the i'rab al-Quran, the Tafsir al-Quran, explaining the grammatical meaning, and see what the ayat mean according to the scholars of Tafsir who specialize in Arabic grammar. So the grammar in Arabic is very important. Grammar here is very important. It's crucial. If I go look up right now, I look up the i'rab of this ayat he just gave me, it's going to break down what is ma. Either it's ma meaning al-mawsula, we never learned that yet, or it means the wa to istifham. It might mean that, or it might be like saying how big or how great. There's another term. I'm trying to think of the meaning in Arabic, the terminology in Arabic. So when you look up grammar, look up to the Quran, or looking up Quran, look up the meanings of words in Quran is very important, because ma here in that ayat, ma Rabbul Alameen, it could mean, the meaning could be multiple meanings. It could be very, I gotta look up the grammatically to translate it, interpret it correctly. I gotta understand grammar. Huh? Because ma means what in Arabic? Ma means the wat istifham, which is what. Ma means al-mawsula, and ma has other purpose in the grammar. I can't think of the name of the term in Arabic language. So this is why important when it comes to grammar, Arabic grammar, why we study Arabic grammar, so we can understand the ayats in Quran properly, so we can interpret it properly, the meanings of the words in Quran. And that's why we focus on Arabic grammar. This is why we learn Arabic. This is why we don't understand the meaning. Maybe I go up later on, maybe I write an article, I tell you, breaking it down, what it means is ayat according to the tafsir of the ayat related to Irab. Breaking down, grammatically breaking down the verses, what it means, breaking down where it falls in grammar and what it means. It's very important. English language, we do this in English language, but most English speakers don't know how to do this even in the English language. In America. Maybe in UK and Canada. Alright, so we're going to close out. I don't know when you asked that question, Sister Ali, you probably broke out on me if you're not here. But I would say in the video, just review lessons 3. I think in lesson 2 and 3. I think in 3 I did a lot of reviewing. In the last class we had last time, I did a lot of reviewing. Review that. And lesson 2 I did a reviewing. I think in lesson 3 what I went over in lesson 2, I said it again in lesson 3. And I added a new lesson. Right? This particular lesson, Al-Idafa. So for the next weekend, inshallah, or next Friday, inshallah, just know real well, I'll tell you right now, all them questions I asked today or tonight, know that stuff real well. What is Marifa? What is Tanween? What is Marifa and Akida? What are the signs of an ism that we have learned? There's more signs of the ism. We didn't learn them yet, but it's very important. What is Marifa and Akida? What is an adjective? I didn't ask the questions yet. The adjective. The adjective must agree with the noun. Adjective is very important. I mentioned last video, all about adjectives. Must know that. Go over that. I'm not going to repeat that lesson. Let's go to the video. Go to lesson, video 3. Talk about adjectives. Right? What are the feminine words in Arabic? Why are they important? Because I said in Arabic language, word masculine or feminine. So go over these lessons. Over every lesson that we went over already, each chapter we went over already, go over them again. Get the terminology, the meaning of the lesson, what's important about that lesson. Chapter 1, for example, or lesson 1, was the most important thing. Get the ruling, the terminology, how the rule is. Vocab, don't stress too much. We're going to use some other books for vocab. The vocab in the book, don't stress too much, but get the some basic vocabs they're using for examples. Get that. Alright? And then we end at Idafa. When you go to Al-Idafa, but make sure you memorize Al-Halatu Irab or Halatu Irab. Memorize that. Marfu' Raf, meaning Dhamma. Mansub Nasb, meaning ending Fatha. Majroor Jar, right? Or Muqafid Jar, meaning ending Kasra. Get that. You have to have that perfect. Because I gave you an example I showed in the book, Al-Awjurmiyah, a very famous book. I'll show you in the index, the content of the book, meaning the content of the book. I showed you everything in there is talking about Irab. Everything, all the chapters is all talking about Irab. That's how important Irab is. I don't know how to put it in the brain for the students here that you must master Irab. Okay, so all right, somebody asks, what is the regular time day for this class? It's every Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern time. 10 p.m. Eastern time, because I'm in New York. I'm on East Coast time, New York. That's New York time. That's 5 a.m. Mecca time. 5 a.m. Mecca time. I think in this month, October, or in October or November, I think we might have some time changing in New York. Time might go back, I think, or ahead. But when that time comes, I will let people know. But at 10 o'clock, that's 10 p.m. New York time. And the time right now is 12 o'clock, 12:01. The time right now is 12:01. Anybody's anywhere, you know the time difference. But I'm East Coast time, East Coast. I have East Coast time, New York, East Coast time. If you use an iPad, iPhone, you just add, to your clocks, like international clock. I have to my iPad here, the time in Mecca, Egypt, Saudi, UK, Indonesia, Malaysia. I have the world clock, Jazair, A lot of most of the Muslim countries, you know, I use a world clock, so I know what the current time and how many hours difference. All right. Any more questions, Ivory? So every Friday, once a week, Friday at 10 p.m. I try to make the lesson to an hour or so, hour at least, tops, at least an hour. You mentioned ism and fi'l and harf are important to differentiate the words, grammatically break down the sentences. Yes, it's very important. That's why that's part of i'rab. All this is actually part of i'rab. Ism and fi'l and harf is also part of the science of i'rab. All right, because how I learned Arabic language in the school is that when they teach you Arabic language, they're going to teach you conversation, they're going to break down grammar, and automatically going to teach you about i'rab, how you break down a sentence grammatically. You know, Ja'a Muhammad, what's that? All right, they're going to tell you how you write it down. It's like formulas. You write them as formulas. I'm not going to get into all of that because that takes a lot of time, but I give you the basic tools for it. So if you go away to study Arabic, like in the school, in the Arabic-speaking country in school, you at least you be familiar with all the terminology, because i'rab is something on its own, right? But it teaches you how to break down grammatically the sentence, writing down in formulas in Arabic. And maybe later on, or the next lesson, or maybe during this week, I'll write out i'rab for certain things. You can see some of the formulas from writing things out, because I don't write the formulas for a lot of like years, but I know them, because when you read books, the scholar is going to mention them. The scholar in fiqh is going to break down a word grammatically in the sentence, the i'rab. You're going to write down the formulas. You're going to say them. You got to understand and comprehend this. You got to know how to even write it for yourself and understand it for yourself. So grammatically, in that sentence, whether it's Quran or Hadith, you know what's going on with the sentence grammatically before you can interpret it. Because grammatically, if you understand the sentence grammatically incorrectly, you're going to interpret incorrectly. All right, so you grammatically make a mistake with the ayat in Quran, you're going to make a mistake in interpretation. This is why Arabic language is very important when it comes to Quran, studying Quran, ulum Quran, science Quran, studying Hadith. And the science of Hadith, you can't study the science of Hadith and be weak in Arabic. You can't. It's not happening. It's not happening. I see people who study science of Hadith, no Arabic, like you're wasting your time. Wasting your time. You know, study the ulum Quran, science of Quran, and don't know grammar. Wasting your time. All right, wasting time. Any more questions before I close out? So I hope I answered your question, Aliyah. And anybody ever have any questions, you could always go to this page, or you could go to my you could go to my Facebook page, which I will give you. You can add me to my Facebook page. You can add my Facebook page, and then you can ask questions like that during the week. Cause I come on this page almost every other day. I do check, because all the inbox let me know in my regular page. It lets me know when I have message. Some people have my email in here. I don't like to post my email in here because I want to get a lot of spam mail. But my website, I think Sister Aliyah Yusuf know my email. But on my website, I have some of my contact information. I can't remember where on my website. Maybe Sister Aliyah could post it here in the comment section. You can always email me, but I don't want to post it here on this right here, because I'm going to get a lot of spam mail. I don't want a lot of spam mail. But Sister Aliyah, if you know the link for my contact, you can post it in the comment area so people get my email. But I don't want to type it out here, my email, because I want to get a lot of spam mail, because it's going to blow up my spam mail. Or you suggest reviewing video 3? Yes, 3. Yes. I think in 3 I summarize everything. All right. 2, video 2. I think I talk more about al-marifa nakira in video 2. Then I start getting a little bit into female words, feminine words. And I get a little bit into, I think I just all go into al-marifa nakira. And then I start introducing feminine words, feminine nouns. and some of the things I mentioned in asking the questions today. It was 3 parts of speech. What is kalam? What is lafz? What is murakkab? What is ism? What's fi'l? Why these things come in this order? You're gonna find this stuff I mentioned in video 2 and video 3, right? But video 3, I think I probably go more details. Anybody doesn't know about Naqid and Marifa, the first few lessons of this book, then you need to go to video 2 and video 3. If you're new to the class, try each day. Go to video 1 one day, video 2 second day, video 3 the third day. Alright? And video 4 going to make sense. If you miss the lessons from today, or today's your first lesson, then just go to the past lessons. Go to the past lesson, inshallah. Alright? If you don't understand the lessons from today because you're new, just go to the previous video. Start with video 1, 2, and 3. If you don't know Arabic letters, can't read the letters, alif, ba, ta, if you can't read Quran, these lessons are not for you. If you don't know the letters, you can't read Quran, even if you struggle, if you can't read it even with struggling, these lessons are not for you because you're going to be lost. When we go over this book, you're going to be lost. You're going to be lost. I mean, what? Yeah. So, any more questions before we close out? Any more questions? I hope the whole lesson is clear. I'rab. I'rab is key. I'rab is the key. Today's lesson is very important. And if you need extra about the I'rab, what's marfu, what's nasb, what's mansoob, what's majroor, and I could do another lesson maybe later on. I could introduce something else, but we're going to finish certain things before we get into that. Then we're going to close out today. Inshallah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. wa shalla wa ant wa astaghfirullah wa tubu ilayk.